Hi there, it's Sarah from Roxy Creations by Sarah. I just thought I'd show you the tablecloth that I made with a bit of help from my sister for Christmas. Some of you, if you follow my sister Roxy Creations by Rachel, might have seen some of her photos. Sorry, my cat's going on the tablecloth. Hi Bobby, off you get. Sorry. So my sister posted some photos on her Instagram of our Christmas tablecloth. Thank you, Bobby. Off you get. We decided to, I really wanted to do a vintage Christmas this year, inspired by Dottie Angel, if you've heard of her. She does beautiful work with vintage linens and things like that. So I got Mum onto a bit of a mission where I wanted all our plates to be vintage, and I didn't want anything to be the same. I wanted every single plate to be different. Sorry, I'm just straightening up the cloth now that my cat's gone over it. And so it took us several months of going to op shops, going to antique stores to find plates. And, you know, we ended up, we had almost 30 people for Christmas. So we had a lot of plates to buy. And I think secretly Mum enjoyed the mission. I gave a max budget of $10 a plate. Occasionally she was naughty and she went over. But the whole idea was to have a vintage Christmas, have this beautiful vintage tablecloth, which was inspired by Dottie Angel, a blog post that she did a few years ago. And it wasn't traditional Christmas at all. So some people have asked how we put this together. So I pretty much just followed Dottie Angel's tutorial, which I'll link at the bottom of the video, so that if you're interested in making something similar you can. So her original idea was that it was a table runner, and she basically just layered vintage linens down and then laces on top and embroideries, and did some hand embroidery. So we essentially did the same thing. So you can see just here, this fabric here is like a base linen. It was a big piece I had. And then what we'd do is we'd layer other linens on top. And I basically just machine stitched everything down layer by layer. Then bits of other laces, like these are things like napkins. Oh, sorry, hankies. Sorry, it probably does need a bit of an iron. It's been folded up. Like vintage embroideries. And then I decided to do some words that were Christmassy, but they aren't too Christmassy, so I can use it at other times. So we've got peace here. Joy's upside down over there. And then over here, I sewed on love. So essentially, really simply, all I did was I used a light sort of like a, you know, what's it called, a visor fix or steamer seam kind of stuff, where it's like the double-sided glue, and I cut out the shapes, and then I just machine stitched. I did it in sort of a dark sort of brown colour. You could do it in black or even navy. And then Rachel's contribution, she helped me a little bit with the layout. She did some random stitching on it. So if you can see over here, like there's some running stitch. Where else has she done some? Oh, around this embroidery, she's done a bit of pink. She's done some crosses over here. So it literally, it was pretty simple to do. It didn't take me too long to sew. I put on some of my favourite embroideries. This one is one of my favorites of all time. This one is probably my #1 favorite. And so we just layered bits on. So lots of pieces of vintage trims with the stitching. And I think it's all come together really nicely. It certainly looked really pretty at Christmas time with all our vintage plates on top of it. So a bit of a different spin on Christmas this year. We didn't go traditional. We've often made things like tablecloths for Christmas, and this one was really fun today to make. It actually didn't take me too long. I probably spent a bit of time on it across a couple of days. Didn't take me too long to make. It's pretty much all machine stitch except for the little bit of embroidery at the end. So if you like it, feel free to make one. You don't have to make one as big as this. This was actually a pretty big tablecloth. The video before was the tablecloth hanging on my clothesline, because at the moment the only table that would fit this is covered in craft supplies, as some of you probably find your tables covered in supplies as well. So I just thought I'd show it, explain briefly how to do it, and encourage other people to give it a go with some vintage linens and laces, and even sheets like that yellow one there with the flowers is actually an old vintage sheet. I've got quite a bit of vintage sheet in this. The blue one up there with flowers is an old pillowcase. Okay, hope you like it. Bye.